Welcome to Adrift in Aldhalor, our weekly actual play D&D show set in our homebrew world of Aradun. Our music is licensed through Musicbed.com. And occasionally we use TabletopAudio and Syrinscape for Ambience. But I'm going to turn it over to Stefan to talk a little bit about our partners.
Oh, hey, thanks, Sean. Yeah. You know what we always say here, Paradise wouldn't be Paradise without our Paradise partners. Like Underground Oracle Publishing. They're a TTRPG publisher creating new worlds in the Cypher system and beyond. Their current focus is Foxfire, a science fiction TTRPG with a strong emphasis on high adventure and fun, full throttle action, where you play as an anthropomorphic animal who left Earth behind long ago to take their place among the stars. For as little as $3 a month, you can become a member through their website and gain early access to this developing TTRPG and each of the worlds they create. Next up, we have Eddie Yorke. He is our character artist. You saw his art at the white screen and in the corner of our little things. He is an illustrator based in the UK who makes art for games and books. To visit his portfolio and get in contact with him, visit eyorke.com. And then we got 1985 Games. They create affordable, accessible, high-quality accessories for Dungeons and Dragons and other tabletop role-playing games. Sean has used their NPC cards to create fun and memorable characters for our campaign, and he's all out, so we're hoping for pack number 3. In the meantime, you can use the code paradiceprod at checkout for 10% off your entire order. We have some recaps and some VODs. They are not up to date, but they will be at some point. In the meantime, you can join us on socials such as Bluesky, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Discord, Instagram, and TikTok to learn more about our fun little group here and the zany adventures we get into. So, yeah, hope to see you around. And if we don't, yeah, that's all right. You do you. Hashtag blessed by Iluvania. Huron out. Jaquet's here. You're muted, Sean. You stupid son of a...
It's not Stefan or Jaquet who does those. It is Huron who does the partner read.
He comes back.
All right, shall we get into a recap?
Yeah. No. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Damn. All right. So, Iron and Mana, last we left off, got into a little bit of downtime for the first time in a while. Before that happens, they did have a captive to question. They had captured one of the Alumno Defiance, later named Cade Bolton, a Vengeance Paladin, in their taking of the lighthouse makeshift keep built by the Alumno Defiance. They questioned him on the Alumno Defiance's purpose and goals, particularly what they were doing with the lighthouse and what their overall goal in Hyvin is. The captive revealed to them that they took the lighthouse as a status symbol, though there is some suggestion that there is some procurement of goods that they're able to do using the tunnels that are connected to the lighthouse, down to the temple that you had killed Hastings in. You also learned from him that seemingly this Captain Hastings is the real deal, and not only the real deal, but also seems to have a reborn perspective on life with his own potential resurrection. Jaquet insinuates that Lasha of the Bone Rattler is responsible for this resurrection. The Bone Rattler's Sea Witch, while the party currently is missing their Sea Witch, as she's off on an adventure of self-discovery right now. But you do agree to let him go so long as there is essentially peace between the Alumno Defiance and Iron and Mana, and that there will not be a retaliation upon the keep. Septimus, after scrying on the gentleman later in the evening, did send a message to him to meet the next day with an offering. He learned that they are hiding out in the old sea temple that you had originally killed Hastings in. But Septimus offered to, once a day, resurrect all that Iron and Mana killed in the raid as a showing of good faith on this agreement. Skeptical, Cade took the message back to his people in Hastings, and in the beginning of downtime, they agreed. And Septimus was able to resurrect all that were killed in the fight. This prompted curiosity from Cade about the faith of Machina and Machina's whisper. And he asked Septimus some questions about these blessings and the metal flesh, or the replacement of his flesh, that Septimus has endured with his faith, creating some unique interest there. Once again, saying to Septimus that they are always open to arrangements with a fellow exile of the Alumno territories, given that Septimus's parents were refugees from Kirinor in the region during the war between the Alumno Defiance and Halcyon. So, some developments there. The party tilted head first into downtime and began development, starting off with Bruce reaching out to Thorn, one of the representatives of the Koboko company, to begin establishing Koboko in Hyvin. He went and met with him at the teleportation circle at Septimus's farm and brought him into the city to begin building the party's developments, as well as opening up their office in Hyvin. And started to import workers from Koboko and contractors from Koboko to begin this business endeavor. These Koboko workers and contractors have been looking to Bruce with a certain expectation of leadership and development, and the insinuation that Bruce will be the head of Koboko in the Aldhalor Islands, potentially, at the end of this development stage. Maybe to Bruce's chagrin at that level of business responsibility. But we'll see. Their first projects is building a keep for Fyrn, utilizing the ruins of the lighthouse and expanding upon those to create the basic flagship keep of Iron and Mana within Hyvin. The refab and upgrading of a establishment, a tavern for Jaquet, where he can begin his own roguish clandestine efforts, mingled with continuing the prospering of the Jackie Touche brand. Including Jaquet starting to submit weekly editorials to the Hyvin Times, talking about freedom and with some maybe passive, maybe active jabs at Mr. Greaves and the other powers that be in Hyvin, while also poaching workers from other taverns that you've experienced, particularly Orin from the Harlequin and Chalice as a true, proper tavern manager. And then also sending word to Stony Heath to acquire Anders, I don't remember if it was with an S or not, a certain bartender who made a very, very fun drink with a show for Jaquet once, and he thought offering him a gig in a proper establishment versus the strange sewer level establishment he was at previously. And of course, bringing Reardon in as his spy master, utilizing the adventuring party, the Wild Flame, that the party has established a partnership with. Septimus invested in his temple further to have the construction of it be more permanent versus the makeshift repairs that his following had already begun with. And during this time, Bruce is working on some rather inventive inventions as well, with some occasional trips to research planes of existence with Sigil, although most of the time currently is being invested in construction and magical item creation. So the party is really making a lot of headway in the construction of, or establishing themselves as no longer guests in Hyvin, but permanent fixtures of Hyvin in the region in general. They also did some serious exchange of magical items and sale with Lefoldus, the halfling magic procurer and seller. So this was all begun. We made it about a month into this construction, where most of their time has been invested in this development, whether that's overseeing the constructions being done on their behalf, or beginning to carouse about town, particularly Fyrn, looking to hire young adventurers and procure contracts for them to begin his own small adventuring guild, an extension of Iron and Mana, that we'll start to see the fruition of at the end of this downtime. But right now, we're jumping back in at that midway point of the 2 months that we've established. Most of this construction will be done at the end of this 2 months, except for Fyrn's Keep is going to need more time to be completed. Fyrn will have at the end of this, we'll have his level 1 keep in the baseline constructions around the lighthouse, but his extensions beyond that will take a little bit longer. If I remember correctly, it's 125 days total that you need, versus everyone else's 50 or 60 that they need. So it'll go beyond this downtime into the 2 months after for establishing your expansions beyond the core lighthouse keep.
Right, that makes sense.
Yep. So like your design you sent me, Clay, the area around the lighthouse will be completed in 60 days. All that additional stuff is what will take the additional 65 days.
Understood. Sounds good.
All right, so we're gonna jump back in here, with it being that month-long time, where we're gonna talk a little bit about what we want to accomplish in the next month. If there's anything in addition to what you've already been doing, some of you have a little bit more free time now than you did before, particularly Jaquet and Septimus, while Fyrn and Bruce are kind of actively working on their things. And I see a hand up immediately from Mr. Touche.
Would like to clarify the date. So if it's a month, we started downtime on the 14th.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that we are around to the 14th, or I guess the 12th would be 4 weeks after?
Yes, I would say the 12th.
Okay.
So we are, and you're currently the time master. We are on the 12th of the Bitter Shadow, correct?
Yes, Ardwin Gloam.
Ardwin Gloam.
Year is 1326 of the year of Curon.
All right, let's check what the weather's like. Reports are showing, as I, the master of this world, miscalculated the time of year it was. Thank you for Stefan for clarifying with me, that it is meant to be much colder than I've been making it. So there was an unseasonable warm month in the Snowy Shadow. Not as much snow as you'd expect, but I think that you'll find that the Bitter Shadow is a bit colder.
Good, that's the way I like it.
All right. So, as we're coming to kind of a close of this this first month, you all would notice over the last few days and today that temperatures have plummeted deeply. It is hampering construction, but Kobokos are professionals, and they knew what months they were getting into this construction, so they've done some precautions to protect their work sites and to make sure progress is still being made. Nothing has reached the point of messing up with your timelines. But we're looking at that first week, the end of the last week of the last month of downtime, as getting significantly colder. A lot more cloudy days, a lot more storms. There's a lot more snow removal that needs to be happening. Fyrn, you might even find yourself being asked to do way more just typical upkeep to get rid of snow in the area. As Hyvin is beginning to kind of like shut down, as it usually would during this time of year, entering into the coldest month of the year, you see far less people in the streets, including the factions that you're used to being a little more active. Just like warm weather sees an uptick in people getting into trouble. That last month where you saw a lot of trouble was probably due to the unseasonable warmth. Now you're finding a lot less skirmishes in the streets, a lot less people in the streets, and people are holding up a lot more. The docks are also kind of slowing down. Everyone's kind of ready for the harsher month that you're currently in. It has created some tensions, I would say, where people have to pay higher prices for things that normally would have been sort of stockpiled due to the unrest in Hyvin. So there's a particular costliness to food and water right now in Hyvin. That's not necessarily going to affect your gameplay, but an interesting fact. As it is, you're looking at negative temperatures right now with snow. At least in this first week of the Bitter Shadow, there's a ton of snow. But entering into the second week where you are now, there's it's not snowing really anymore. Mainly because it's actually too cold to snow. The snow is all snowed, and the water cycle is paused in the just pure coldness of it. So the snow is on the ground. It's not really going to see a lot of more snow, maybe tiny flurries from storms from over the sea that come in. You are seeing this affecting, like I said, the people. And there's occasional elemental bursts in some weeks where people are needing actually to be helped often. Fyrn, you might even find yourself doing this frequently, where there might just be little outbursts of elemental magic, where there's an ice elemental that forms and just starts to wreak a little bit of havoc on the street as it's forming rather spontaneously, and the unrest of that elemental might need to be dealt with. There's more of this than there are the skirmishes between factions in the streets at this time. And you wake up some days to some rather peculiar phenomena. Sometimes you step out in the early morning cold and see that the clouds look almost like they're frozen in the sky. Or you might see the clouds taking forms like dragons or serpents or even whales, as there is a disruption in the elemental balance here right now. But on the 12th of the Bitter Shadow, we catch back up with you all as we go into the second month of downtime. So, any clarifications on what you all are doing during this time? I know, Bruce, you're going to be doing a lot of work in the artificing lab during this time. The flail that you're developing is not going to cost you extra time. I'm just going to tack it on to the other time, because to develop a flail would cost you 1 day of work. And I'm going to say maybe it costs you 2 because you're infusing it with a immovable rod, but it's not going to add significantly to your time. It's too simple of an item to really need to require a ton of artificing.
Thank you.
Because when you craft an item, you divide the time by 50 gold pieces, and it only costs 10 gold pieces, or silver pieces in our game, to make a flail. So it's very easy for him to make his flail. So that you could have done right away. That is now in your possession. Now the Bunkos tool that you're reverse engineering and the work you wanted to do on the orb of translocation that Mr. Greaves had given to Jaquet, that will take you longer. It's going to take you this full month to really develop the Bunkos crossbow you're trying to develop, and then additional time to upgrade it further. And then it is also going to take 2 weeks to reverse engineer the orb of translocation. And the orb of translocation one may cost you a little bit in R&D, but it's only going to be 200 silver pieces.
Okay, yeah.
And as you're working on that, which, I'll let you prioritize time-wise, like when you'd actually be working on that. It might be might be solely focusing on the bunkos right now, but when you do, you learn that's a relatively simple magic item that just happens. And the thing that takes you the most time is trying to turn the enchantment into a non-fiendish enchantment and something that can come from your artificing magic, so that it will not necessarily ping as a evil item if you want to use it.
Imagine working heavily with Septimus there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. Yeah. Once it gets into the territory of religion, you bring in the
divine.
You bring in your divine boy to help you there.
Are you divine anymore? You're just kind of a block of metal. I didn't actually say that.
How dare you, sir? There's a spirit within the bounds of this device. Can't you see?
It's a block of metal.
Then I'm not gonna help you.
So, during this month that you're working on things, is there anything particular you guys would like to be doing differently, or additions to what you were already working on? So, for example, like specifically, the non-Bruces in the room, because you guys have more free time than he does in this month, and your projects are right now running by themselves. So right. you can do more things that are just what you want to do.
Well, I think Fyrn's priorities are pretty much the same. We previously discussed him doing some small jobs and trying to create buzz about, their organization, and trying to get, adventurers to come and go to him for, support and jobs, and see if we can facilitate something like that. I don't know if any of that was done in the first month.
First month was mostly you procuring contacts for you to be able to do that. So this month would be where you'd actually be able to do some of those things.
Okay. So I think Fyrn would probably take the initiative to do that on his own. But he is kind of curious. Maybe he'd come up to Jaquet one day and ask him, hey, Jaquet, what have you been up to?
Well, I've established my establishment. As you can see, I've been hiring some folks, and otherwise, I'm just trying to spread the good word of iron and mana.
Right.
Yeah.
There is a lot of work to do, but I've noticed as the weather's been getting colder, a lot of gang violence has been going down. It might be a good time to do some research into, Mr. Greaves, to see if...
Oh, my friend, don't worry. Jaquet has a plan ready, and it involves using my stronghold's ability to gather intelligence.
Which is a good segue into what Jaquet will be doing. Okay. All right, so Jaquet, you are utilizing your establishment in this month because it is, while still being completed in its refab, is operational.
Right, and I mean, so as I understand the rules for Stronghold and followers is that our strongholds operate independently of us. We
Correct.
are not there managing. So while my establishment is gathering intel, Jaquet will still continue doing all his normal things.
Yes.
Barding, writing for the Times, etc. But yeah, so with the establishment, I can ask them, and I don't know if you want to play it if it's level 1 right now or if it's level 2.
I'll say it's level 1 right now, and it'll be level 2 at the end of construction.
Gotcha. So I can gather intelligence on one organization, up to 6 hexes away, but since we're playing at a city scale, in any district of the city. And so you can set the DC based on the size of the organization, if they're secretive, if they're protective, etc. And then I will roll a gathering intel check, which adds my proficiency bonus. And then I can spend gold, or in our case silver, to increase that bonus by 1 for every 100 up to the level of my establishment. So as level 1, I can spend 100 silver to add +1 to this roll.
Okay. Alrighty. So we did talk about this because we're operating on a smaller season scale than the strongholds and followers. I don't think that is going to matter too much though, because these rules are written for a different style of play. Where I think if we're doing this where it's a season is 2 weeks instead of the 3 months of of the rules, I think based on our like campaign pacing, like it's almost equivalent like to what our scale is, in the sense of like I don't feel like I need to do like you're going to get less information. I think we just operate off of these 2 weeks is the seasons for our system.
All right. Well, on that note, the establishment does generate income per season.
Yes.
It's 1,000 gold, or in our case silver, per level every season. So does that mean every 2 weeks I'm generating 1,000 silver?
Let's say no, but in addition to that, I'm also going to reduce the cost of you increasing your level.
Okay.
So like instead of 100 silver, I think we can reduce that. I think what's fair in that sense is to quarter those things. So that it costs you 25 silver to up your checks. But you will also, instead of making 1,000 silver every 2 weeks, you're going to make 250 silver every 2 weeks.
That sounds beautiful to me.
And then that's a rule that can extend to everything where there's any kind of like time-based things. We'll just reduce everything down to what a quarter of the cost in the rules is.
Okay. All right. So Jaquet will spend 25 silver to basically pay Reardon and whoever he needs to pay to gather intel on Mr. Greaves's syndicate.
Okay. Is there anything in particular you're looking for in this gather intel?
Not particularly. I guess this is more being like, okay, where's like Jacques, just basic information, and maybe if it's higher, some more directed information about like bases of operation, or like an important NPC that maybe we didn't know about previously, like a new lead or a new connection.
Absolutely, go for it.
Cool. Oh no. Hey Sean, since I'm using my proficiency bonus, I'm just joking. I get +5 on that roll, so it's going to be a 12.
12. Okay. Okay. So I think since we're getting into the operations of these things, I think we'll ask everyone what they're doing in that 2 week season.
Okay.
So for not only what is your establishment doing, but Jaquet during these 2 weeks is continuing with what he was already doing, the weekly op-ed and spreading the word. Okay. Spreading word. Gather intel with a 12. All right, I will resolve that after I get what everyone is doing. Okay, this 2 weeks, Bruce. I imagine this is like your like main like 2 weeks into the bunkos work. Like you're really putting in the effort.
Yeah.
Here. Yeah.
Yep.
You have
Locked in the project.
you have the items to deconstruct. This is where you're really reversing the understanding, like figuring out exactly how, like you're busting the proprietary information of these bunkos modules and how they work during this time to put in that effort to then repurpose these onto an item that you want to create. Writing this down is breaking the bunkos.
Breaking down bunkos.
Breaking down bunkos. Septimus, during this 2 weeks, while there's construction happening, your temple is really coming together now. But there's still another month of, or almost a month of construction. So by the end of this 2 weeks, you'll have mostly intact your temple. It'll only have roughly one more week of work to be done. But what is Septimus himself doing during this time?
Just trying to amass more followers and spread the good word, brother.
Yeah.
Like maybe go into the city streets and the town square sometimes and just try to sermonize out.
I like that.
Telling everybody that the end is nigh. To submit themselves to Machina.
Now, this is my question for you, because this sounds an awful lot like carousing. Would Septimus specifically be doing this amongst the lower class of Hyvin? Or would he be mixing it up with like the middle class and the upper class? Now, currently, most of the people who you've been, like your temple has been carousing with, is lower class.
Yeah. I imagine he would start at the lower class, just to kind of like get his feet in the water, and then, depending if it went well enough, expand to higher status members of society.
So maybe we'll say in the first week you're carousing amongst the lower class, and the second week if you do well, you'll start carousing amongst the middle class a bit.
Yes.
All right. I love it.
Every once in a while, Fyrn it bumps into Septimus in the middle of carousing the lower class, and then everybody's like thinking that I'm working for you or you're working for me, and we're like, no, we're different things. We're doing different things here.
Yeah. This is like probably like, as much as you guys are doing interesting things, this is like the most like normal Iron and Mana's like day to day has been in a while, of just sort of like, yeah, I go down to Harborside and I preach a little bit, then I grab lunch with Fyrn, and then I spend the afternoon praying. Okay. All right, so Septimus, we'll start with you. Can you give me... So it's going to cost you 10 silver pieces to carouse amongst the lower class. So you can give me a persuasion roll to just be pushing forth your good word.
Hold on one second. Persuasion. Yes. 19.
19. All right. You are rather successful in gathering attention to you. Now, I'm not going to use the exact carousing rules here for this, because you're mostly trying to employ influence more so than get contacts. So I imagine you are... well, tell us a little bit about what a Septimus street preaching, proselytizing looks like. And you can assume that you get like a consistent like 2 or 3 people who are like truly listening to you, that by the end of the week will likely start showing up at your temple.
Right. I'd imagine like he would bring kind of 2 or 3 of the people that have like already been frequenting his temple. They'd be like, come show me where it is that you first heard of where you're from. And so like they take up to that area. I can kind of see the masses. And I think he would bring Sal with him to kind of like stand with him. That is there. And not completely disrobe, but like kind of pull back his hood and kind of show himself, like his arms.
Yeah. It's really interesting, Septimus, because you have one of your arms, your original arm you lost and had that you replaced yourself, is like looks cruder than your other arm because but like it's nice. It's not like it looks like ugly. It's just one arm is literally as if it was flesh, but entirely metal, and the other one is of your design that looks a little more akin to the arm of Sal. So there's this sort of like interesting dichotomy on you of like personally consecrated and like divinely prescribed, almost like where you personally worked hard to create this arm, gathered the resources, and put the blessing in yourself, versus the other arm that is a divinely ordained, gifted thing to you. That, yes, did come off of your own personal work with the staff, but was more of somewhat of a reward, so to speak, from Machina upon you.
Right.
That's not going to affect anything. That's just an interesting note to, as you are showing these parts of you.
Right.
Something to work into your sermon.
Well, it'll essentially be citizens of Hyvin, please hear me for one brief moment in your daily lives. As you may know or may not know, I am Septimus of Iron and Mana. We have returned to this city, and I come to give you the good grace of Machina, which has shown you, or has shown me, the visions of a greater utopia that we can make upon this world. And like kind of starting there, and start just kind of like sharing, kind of like where I was at one point. And he's like, people will say, they will scoff at Machina. Do not trust the machines. Look upon myself, but do not fear. Look upon my construct Sal, for he has given me life, moreover than the elements ever have. I prayed and devoted my entire young life to them, and were met with nothing. Without even a level of devotion, I'm standing here now because of Machina. And you too can be saved. And just kind of like rambling on there. And then just kind of like the growth of us traveling. And kind of starting with, I didn't really have an affinity at first. And I was given grace. But the more that I've shown my devotion, here are my achievements. And what I was able to like create.
Absolutely. And
and you kind of like end on a note where it's like, for all of you that are feeling lost or slighted at an unfair and unjust world, I open my arms up to you to come seek the truth that I was able to learn. Come find me at the Temple District, and we could build a better future together.
It's interesting because there's this parallel thing happening where you and Jaquet are kind of delivering the same message across the town, but via different paths. You know, it's like believe in yourself, believe in a better future, freedom. One is in faith and one is in faith in mortal. Jaquet Touchard. So you get a mix. You get a dedicated few who are like very interested and will probably find you at the temple later. You get some people who are just like, some people who are like people who are just very rude to you also. Like there's at least a couple of them who are like actively like praying in front of you, not to Machina, whether it's to the elements or they're one of the few here. Because the majority of people here have some connection to the elemental faith, whether it's, not in
told that.
practice or whatnot. But there's some who are also like Ilyavanya worshippers. A good chunk of them that are Ilyavanya worshippers who are just like unsure how to take your messages. It's probably the people who are the most staunchly like anti Machina's Whisper are like the really hardcore devoted to any of the other religions there. Other than the Revelry of Ro adherents who just sort of look at you as another group of people to the party. There's no reason why you can't be a robot and revel in Ro. And then there's, the Everflame folks are probably the most like prudish against this, seeing it as a taint of the immortal form. And then the spirits just are distrustful of claims of spirits that aren't elemental spirits. But you get plenty that are just sort of like, I don't fucking know what's going on in this world. There's fucking crazy shit every day. An ice elemental just destroyed the warehouse I work in the other day, and I have to like, I'm not getting paid today. I was supposed to work today, and like this guy's saying there could be a better way. And those people are a little bit more like amenable to the idea of a new religion that is more focused on this improvement of the self through Machina. So you have a really successful first week of preaching, where when I say you get 2 to 3 folks kind of like on your side, they're not necessarily immediately going to become adherents, but they are curious and will be talking about Machina in a positive light now, as like almost entities within the city that are now no longer hesitant but eager, and will start talking in taverns and stuff about, I saw the construct equals cell. It looked very friendly. Wasn't there to rip my throat out or destroy my crops for no reason. I'm starting to think the robots, the Machina, are the ones who are balanced and ordered, and the elements are the chaos ripping through my life. And then the friend is just like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? So there's just sort of this word spreading now, where instead of it being really insular and really only people who take it upon themselves to find your church, there are now people who are just curious and might just be coming by to see what it's all about. All the more reason why it's important that your church is upgraded and constructed to not just be sort of this almost warren that like these Machina's Whisper etherheads hide out in. And so like people will start to notice that you're feeding and clothing and healing the wounded and the sick and the poor, and take that to heart, that there's not really any evidence for any of them that Machina are a threat to them. I mean, most of the people in the city, the only Machina they've ever seen is Sal, or the wild one that the governor used in the celebrations. It's the people who actually see Machina are people who are out in the countryside who stumble upon rogue ones.
Right.
But it's a successful first week of proselytizing, which means if you're willing to spend 50 silver, you can up your game up to the middle class if you'd like. The most of the people you were preaching to are people who are too poor to forgo working during the harshest month. So they were moving about, going to their jobs, working in grueling contexts where they're being, real Christmas Carol level poverty folks, who have to work on Christmas kind of thing for penance.
On Ilyavanya.
On Ilyavanya. Or Curister? Curanister? Priester.
Jesus was canon in your game, right?
Yeah, Ilyavanya is where she was reborn again to fight the Pallid King.
I mean, that would be a holiday, actually. I should actually go back to campaign 1 to find out what date on the calendar.
Remember all those times that
the final episode was?
Christ.
No, it would have been when she was actually reborn in the fountain, when the moon was restored, would be considered the day. I could actually find that pretty easily, because I actually do have recaps for every single session from then. So yeah, there is actually a holiday that I actually really want to look up right now. But if you'd like, you can do another persuasion roll and spend 50 silver to do the second week.
If it went pretty well the first week, then Septimus would do it.
And what'd you get?
Oh, persuasion. I did not even roll. Oh, alright, that was so cool. 14. Not terrible, but it could have been better.
Yeah, this one is a little harder because these people are less. And really, you can really boil it down to the fact that these people have less.
They don't.
Their
they
lives
have
are
less-
not as bad. Like if we're
Right.
being frank
They have
about
more
it,
to lose.
they
I
have
guess.
they have more social
That's it.
status to lose by joining a new religion. They have been provided in their eyes by the religions that they've followed.
There's no desperation to make a serious life altering.
Exactly. So they're less eager. It's not that none of them are interested, but it's way less of this eagerness to learn and more like intellectual curiosity. You get a lot more, for lack of a better way to put it, more hipsters who are just sort of like, so tell us about this Machina's Whisper. Like they're not upper class.
I wouldn't even classify it as hipsters too. Like,
No,
like,
that's-
just imagine like if you and I went to the bar and some dude was just
Exactly.
shouting in the corner that lizard god was real, and we'd be like, "What the fuck is this guy talking about?"
Yeah, exactly. And
Actually,
like
we would probably humor him, but we wouldn't take him seriously.
and
Well,
that
that's
you
fine.
get that vibe from a lot more people talking to you, that they're more humoring you. They're bored in the cold months. They all, a bad day would destroy their lives, but they're assuming a bad day is not going to come. So they are currently, but that doesn't mean that some of them don't commiserate with your message, though. In the same way that they're commiserating with Jaquet's messaging. There's a lot more crossover in this area between Jaquet's
Right.
message and yours.
If it's not too late, and if you would allow, if I'm seeing that I'm not encapsulating the interest that I did before, I would change kind of part of the sermon to just be like, just trying to like stoke curiosity. It was just like, I could talk more about it if you want to learn more. Come on down to Seppi's big temple of greatness,
Come on,
located
located
on with Main at Turnbull.
Yeah, and I'll say like those people who like there are a good number of these people who are outwardly uninterested in your faith because they are amongst their peers, but internally are interested in learning more and may on their own volition come to your temple, but don't want to risk their social status by expressing interest in Machina's Whisper around their faithful friends of Iluvania, Everflame. It's this very odd thing where it's this like, where it's like, that's ridiculous. I much prefer to believe in my space demon angel goddess. Things that are like for an everyday person somewhat ridiculous to read the stories, despite like the fact that like fabulously in this world, like all these religions are true. So and the fact that like the Everflame is actually a space angel demon goddess. But like, it's that way there. It's sort of like, well, my religion is not foolish. Yours is foolish. In a weird way, almost because your religion is more material in the fact that you're asking them to believe in like something that is actually in front of them, although they can't see the spiritual essence that you claim to see.
Okay, cool.
All right. All right. So we've got that. Septimus is carousing. Fyrn.
Hi.
With your carousing, you have secured a few contracts and a few really fledgling adventurers eager to in their minds join Iron and Mana is how they think this is. So they're like in their head they're like we're gonna be doing amazing work. When most of the contracts that you've gotten are, as you maybe would have anticipated, fairly low-level things that like you'd be able to like handily take care of, but might be a bit more of an adventure for like a level 1 or 2 adventurer. They're eager. Some of these people that you're meeting are not just eager because they have a desire for adventure, but also because they need money. Some of them they just quite simply need money, and have shown a little bit of proficiency with a bow, let's say, or learned a single spell, or happen to have like decent armor that was passed down by their family. So you have like basically in front of you like the real brittle bones of an adventuring team. You have a really, really inept caster. You've got a roguish ranger-like guy, and you have like a fighter. All like not at a level where they can really focus their skills, but are ready to work on these contracts in exchange for enough money, basically to fund them living their life.
So, I would say like I kind of have like a loop where I would do the same thing every day to sort of build on these new recruits. First thing I would do is pay them to come in the morning, a small wage, but say it's like a requirement to get
orientation.
Yeah, like work with, if you want to like go through my contracts, I have to make sure you're capable and you won't die on the thing. So I would force them to do a little training. And there's a training feature in my fort that allows me to give, the trainees a buff.
Mm-hmm.
So for this initial fledgling group, I think that the most practical would be the slashing training, because even poor people can have little daggers.
Yeah. Totally.
And anybody can use stuff like that. So generally what that means is you deal an extra 1d6 damage to creatures wearing light, natural, or no armor. That's like something that they would get. And yeah, pretty much I would just train them in the mornings, and then if I have contracts, if there are larger contracts, I'd try and handle them myself. If there are things that I think that they could handle, I would go with them, but in a supervisory fashion to make sure the job is done. Like if they retreat, or get injured, I would step in, sort of thing. Because I don't think I have enough people that I can't I mean it's still very early stages, so we would be taking contracts, but we wouldn't be I wouldn't be able to have people go do 3 contracts at once, right? We're not there yet.
No, definitely not. You basically have like a adventuring unit, so to speak, that is able to take on some of these contracts.
So yeah, it would all depend on their skill levels. Maybe some days I would have, some people do manual labor jobs where they're not threatened if I don't think they're up for it. If there's something dangerous that happens that's an emergency, I might leave them to, guard the fort while I go handle it, or something along those lines. But contracts don't come around every day, so I would first do the training, and then I would go out and pretty much hit the same locations over and over again to try and get word out. And Fyrn isn't one for public speaking or anything like that. He knows He tries to, but he doesn't do very well. So he'd probably just share flyers and talk to business owners. He would probably just keep going to bars, and every once in a while he'd buy a drink for somebody who looks down on their luck to see if they want to either join or if there's something Fyrn can do to help. He might even push a few people towards the Machina's temple if it looks like they're like in need of something that he can't provide, healing or some sort of disease, and he'll just say like, tell them why I sent you, and they'll treat you right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
Yeah, basically he's just trying to get these people to a fighting fit form, and then he's also just trying to make money. He's taking as many jobs as he can without burning himself out, and trying to help the people around town. And he's giving more than he's receiving. Like, he'd like to be making a profit, but right now he understands that like we have some equipment for my people, but I need more people, and I need people I can trust, and there are a lot of people out here that need the money more than I do. So he's giving away some cash if necessary, or he might even be doing manual labor some days, like if they need it. You're telling me that they're kind of don't have jobs, so like he's trying to take advantage of that, but he doesn't want to, like, I don't know, push people.
Totally. I think and
yeah, he would also probably talk to the other adventurers, the Wild Flame. They could also assist in all of this.
Yeah, totally. So I would say that one, you need to take an extended rest to do training. So that first week would be taken up by training. And then the second week would be contract work. I would say, like you're saying, right now you're not at a place to be making money off of these people. But you're able to, we'll be able to, I guess my question is, how much are you willing to pay these people? And I'm going to use lifestyle expenses as a gauge for this. So are you looking to fund, like, make it so that they're able to live like a poor lifestyle, a modest lifestyle, comfortable, wealthy, aristocratic, or squalid?
I would say I would treat them well.
Mm-hmm.
So if I see potential in them, I would say that, I would go with a modest lifestyle, most likely.
So what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to give me a work roll to determine if you make enough money from your contracts to pay them that lifestyle, to see if you may make profit or don't make profit.
Okay.
You can use an athletics, an acrobatics, or a performance check for this.
Athletics, acrobatics.
You could also do an intelligence check using a set of tools, or charisma with a musical instrument. I imagine like acrobatics or athletics is what you'll use for
this.
I was
gonna say, we're gonna go with athletics for sure. I got a 24, Sean.
24, okay. You are able to pay them well for a modest lifestyle, and are actually able to make a little tiny bit of profit this week.
Cool.
It's not a ton, but you're just starting out.
Right.
So you're able to make 27 silver off of these adventurers, while giving them all a comfortable lifestyle for that week of work.
Can we just say that I've given that 27 silver away to the poor?
Totally.
Like as I've been exploring.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give you like a free carousing amongst the poor with that. Absolutely. But yes, and like the contract work you're doing here is very much so like the person who said to Septimus's curious adherent, "Oh, the warehouse got fucked up by an ice elemental." It's like, "Oh, we're gonna go deal with this ice elemental." Is like that kind of work, like throughout town where people are looking to hire what they might normally hire a mercenary for. They can work with you instead, where you're charging them fairly and not extorting them.
Right. And yeah, that's basically all he's doing. He's going from tavern to tavern, asking if anybody needs help, buying people drinks, and doing the work.
These. So, your adventurers. There are 3 of them that you have right now.
Oh, cool. Do I get to name them? Do you get to name them?
I'm going to give you a very basic description of them that you can then take to write these down, and you can take this to like the next level as they develop in the way you're training them. So we have her name is Hona, Hona. She's your fighter. She has 14 strength, 12 dexterity, 11 constitution, 8 wisdom, 9 intelligence, and 9 charisma. We may not use any of this, obviously. The generator I have gives me stats, so I'm just might as well.
That's fine. I'm writing them down.
She has green hair. I'm sorry, not green hair, copper hair, curly copper hair with green eyes. She has some beat up chainmail, and a real like haggard looking axe. She does have a silver furred dog named Breha that she brings around with her often, not on adventures, but she is sort of a companion animal for her.
Cool. And I would assume I would say after the week of training, if they make it through and they've gone to every single training through the whole week, I will give them one of the armor sets or weapons that I found off of the Alumna Defiance people that we stole. Basically.
You don't have any of their armor because you let them take their bodies away.
Then she gets a new axe from one of those. I do have 2 sets of heavy armor though, Sean. I have the Gosu ones and I have the plate mail that I bought and never used. Well,
yeah, you could absolutely you could give Hona a plate mail if you want. I think she needs to work out her strength a little bit more.
Yeah, the plate mail is like in my office sort of thing. It's like on a mannequin or something, and I'm like, maybe someday if you're good enough, I'll give you one of those.
Yeah, one of those things that's like 1,000 days worth of wages to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny. They like walk into your keep, and there's like all this active construction going on all around. But then there's your like small circle keep. That's where the lighthouse was that they walk into. All right, you have Rosario.
Oh, good name.
Rosario is a male half-orc rogue who actually you learn was a stowaway and is actually from Gwenvalier. Was a stowaway on a ship to get to the New World, and he is he's from Jaquet's neighborhood area, except not Jaquet's neighborhood. He obviously lived in the lowest level of Domizerum, but has a Gwenvalieri Ferothris accent like Jaquet. He's a little older. His hair's a little gray. His gray eyes and a cropped beard. He has very simple leather and a short sword and a dagger.
Great.
And then your last person is
What? Sorry, what race was Hona? Is she a human?
Hona was a human. Yeah.
Okay.
And then your last person is Ukal. Ukal, who is a dwarf sorcerer.
What kind, or is he too bad that we don't know?
He's too bad, you don't know yet. With bright red hair, large brown eyes, very simple garb. He's not particularly. He's probably your least well put together of all of them. But he knows a few spells, so he's useful.
I was gonna say, I could. He's probably better at spell casting than I am.
Yeah. And he's really quick-witted, given his charisma as a sorcerer. I'll give you Rosario's stats in a second, but Ukal has 8 strength.
Okay.
10 dexterity.
Okay.
14 con.
Yeah.
9 intelligence.
Okay.
9 wisdom. 17 charisma.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
And then Rosario.
Min next. Minions.
Min-max minions. Rosario, despite being a half-orc, is fairly lithe and not very strong. He has 8 strength. 16 dexterity, 10 con, 10 intelligence, 9 wisdom, and 10 charisma.
All right, cool.
Yeah, and like all of them having more than commoner stats is the only reason why they're even capable of joining your adventuring guild at this point. But they're all essentially level 1. In the abstract sense, like we're not going to be doing real full stats for these guys.
Right.
It's just to give you a little flashpoint of what they're like as NPCs.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably say if I have any downtime, like late at night, I would offer them to stay in the keep. I know it's under construction, so it's not the best place to live, but
there's a very simple residential like area, like mini barracks in the tower that you have.
Right. So like it's up to them whether they would want to stay or not. But if they do stay, I would probably feed them, and if they wanted any extra training or advice, maybe I would talk to Ukal and say that I know people in the academy that could help you learn more about your abilities if you want to go that route. Like I know magic, but I'm not a sorcerer like you are, so I would give him that option and maybe do him a favor if he works well with me. Like, not right away, but and the same thing with the other two. Like if Rosario starts cozying up to me, I would maybe refer him to Jaquet to improve his skills, because I know that has similar build.
Yeah, your adventuring guild could turn into a good farm for Jaquet to find spies.
And Hona, I would probably, if she was interested in hanging out, I would definitely take her on as like a sort of apprentice fighter type build, and maybe mix up
lover.
Maybe mix up her fighting style a little bit, get her on some two-handers, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, God. Okay. So we as you were going through that, we do have a date for the Ilyuvania Rising festivities. I finally found it.
What is it?
I'm glad that I found it because it is coming up. It's not. We haven't passed it.
Oh, cool.
It's the 30th. It's actually wildly. It's New Year's Eve. It actually corresponds with New Year's Eve. For my world, at least. Obviously, it's not in January. It's not actually New Year's Eve. It's the day before New Year's Eve. It's the 30th of the Wild Shadow. So it's a pre-celebration that often some people will just fold into the New Year celebration, but the hardcore Ilyuvanists compete with New Year's Eve for celebrations. It's actually becoming a thing where it's like how exciting and festive can the Ilyuvania Rising Day be in order to get more people to be too hungover or tired to actually do New Year's Eve.
Who will pay the catering business more money?
Exactly. There's major competition for the actual goods and services that weekend. And then like the real hardcore Ilyuvania worshippers are like, it's not meant to be a festival. It's meant to be a day of contemplation of the new world that we've been gifted.
Christmas isn't about the presents.
Yeah. But it is the day that the Ilyuvania's moon is brightest in the sky, and is almost in a way her moon outshines the sun for a moment, right before the sun actually takes over the sky at the end of the long dark. But anyway, 30th of Villid Gloam is the day of celebration.
Oh my god.
It's a bigger deal in Gwenvalier than Aldhalor. All right, so
We did it.
What you got there, Stefan?
That's a paintbrush.
Just painting some Githyanki.
all right, so this rotation of downtime does get us to the 26th. Before we start into the last 2 weeks of the formal long downtime, we'll resolve your gather intel information.
Gather the intel.
So with a 12, trying to infiltrate with information about the Syndicate, which I'd say is the most covert of the factions. It is difficult for Reardon to fish out a lot of information, but he does get something for you that is useful. He learns that the main tension right now is that the Syndicate is trying to figure out means of hastening the election. And you learn that their the main thing blocking them is that the Commodore's offices are doing everything they can to delay it, to use esoteric bureaucracy to say this is why we can't do it here, this is why we can't do it here, and essentially that the Commodore's office wants to hold off the elections until the new year. Mr. Greaves wants elections to be in the next month so that he can be, in his mind, elected and inaugurated in the new year. With a 12, that's mostly what you get about what their current goals are, and what's blocking them is you do like some basic things like that don't really need much of a role for Reardon to learn. There are some new folks in the leadership that are mainly, you don't get a lot of names, but you know that he has, basically the syndicate is trying to create like their forward office that's not criminal. So there are a lot of like new faces who are like business people around town. Cadmus is part of this, that are just sort of this like legitimizing face to Mr. Greaves, while the underground element still has the same people working that you would be familiar with. The drow woman who was the main voice for Mr. Greaves. You learn the only thing you learn about like leadership is that individual, she is basically taken up like the actual proper role of leader of the syndicate to try to distance Mr. Greaves from the organization. So they're no longer does she talk in a way that she says like, I'm the voice of Mr. Greaves to people. She is the syndicate now.
Okay, and that wasn't. Oh, what was the name? I don't remember. There was a name that Jaquet had gotten.
It is that person. I know what you're talking about, and I'm looking for the name myself. Back when you guys were going to be doing more in Hyvin, this person was going to be more important, but then you guys left, so that you never got a chance to talk to them. But they're the person that the vignette showed the supposed Hastings meeting with.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think I can find that pretty quickly.
Actually. Wrong page. Oh no, I didn't write that down.
Oh, actually.
It was like Oakenhammer
Yeah,
or like
No,
that's the name of the dwarf from Oakenshield.
It's funny. I know it was something like that. Her name was Thorin Oakenshield. Yeah, I'll find it, but that person is who is basically running the syndicate now. And generally speaking, the syndicate has gone really underground. Like people understand that the Widow's Ward is still their territory and that you can still run into the syndicate, but they're not as like boastfully like the Otter business is run way more like a regular establishment now than an actual like criminal bar.
Okay, cool.
But what I think we'll do is we'll jump into a short break and then come back and finish out the 2 months or the last bit of this month.
Okay.
All right, friends, we'll be back shortly to conclude our long form downtime and decide what we want to do next. Which may be a little bit more downtime, but maybe a little faster. All right, see you in a bit. Welcome back, everybody. We are continuing with some Iron and Mana downtime. They've accomplished quite a lot in a month and a half. Between establishing or most of a establishment, tavern, still being upgraded, and most of a keep that's still being upgraded as well, and Septimus's temple, which will be done very soon. Will actually be done within the next week of downtime. So Septimus, if you have any descriptions you want to give for that, you can give those, or if you don't have those ready, you can wait until next week. And we'll jump into that. But our heroes just finished up another 2 weeks of downtime where they've learned a little bit about the Syndicate. Bruce is continuing to work on some reverse engineering of the Bunkos apparatus. And general spreading the good word of both Jaquet and Machina, while Fyrn accomplished a little bit of contract work with his fledgling adventuring guild that he's advising and employing. He even made a little bit of profit,
Sponsoring,
which he promptly donated to the poor. Entering into the next 2 weeks of downtime. During this time, Bruce, you will complete your reverse engineering and augmentation of a crossbow to its stage 1 rare form. You'll need to work an additional bit of time to turn that into the very rare you intend. But at the very least, you'll have a cool item to show Jaquet at the end of this 2 weeks. And the rest of you can continue doing what you have been doing, or if there's different things you'd like to do, you could let me know. Is there anything different anyone would like to do during these 2 weeks?
The only thing would just be a shift from going out and trying to attract people in to kind of cultivating what he's reaped so far with interested folk. Just like being more present at the temple, actually kind of just getting to the meat and potatoes of what it is to, always in Septimus's eyes, to worship Machina.
Absolutely.
Or not worship Machina, but to be a follower for Machina's whispers.
I love it. All right, so Septimus is gonna foster the temple internally. Jaquet, are you gonna continue gathering intel and then Jaquet's typical behavior in the 2 weeks?
Yeah. So I think this puts us at 6 weeks, right? Which is
Correct.
Gonna be the completion of the level 2.
Yes.
Because
you needed 45 days, right, or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So this, your establishment will be completed then for the level 2 aspect.
Okay. So that means that I can spy on 2 different folks this season, and I can spend up to get it to +2. So Jaquet is going to continue spying on the Syndicate, and then he is also going to gather intel on the Arduni. With them, he's specifically looking about their power structure, and then who directly, on either side, communicates between the Arduni ascendancy, right? Because we know that it's the ascendancy specifically that seems to have taken up here. Who between them and the Chroma Fist are communicating. Right. So, like, who's the leader of the Chroma Fist that answers to who at the ascendancy?
Love it.
And, you know, if possible, what's up with Fiora?
Okay, these are done as 2 separate roles, right?
Yes.
Okay. So which one would you like to do first?
Let's continue with the Greaves.
Okay, go ahead and give me the roll.
All right, I'm gonna spend, now I can spend up to 50 to increase that by 2. So that's gonna be 17.
17, okay. All right, and then give me the roll for the Ardunai also, as I'll resolve these in a moment.
Sure. Aradunai is going to be a 22.
Ooh. Excellent. All right, so I will resolve those after I go through and check what everyone's doing.
Sure.
All right. Fyrn, are you doing more contract and training or just contract work?
Yeah, I think it would just be the same thing, contract and training.
Okay. All right, so 1 week training, 1 week contracting. So for the contracting, once again, I'll ask you for a athletics or acrobatics check.
So just to be clear, the training, it's training them specifically. They're not going to get like an extra buff.
Yeah, I know. It's you, and if systematically wise, you'd only use training to shift it to a different one if you wanted to, but it's just I understand.
Right. Okay, that's fine.
Thematic. It's
yeah.
more thematic. The training week for this 2 weeks.
What did you want me to roll?
Either athletics or acrobatics.
Ooh, 26 this time.
26.
Rolling good on these.
Okay. You are able to once again. Basically, you get the same thing. You're getting maximum profit out of them right now. Where you are able to provide them with a modest lifestyle pay, and then still get 27 silver pieces worth of profit.
Okay, I would imagine that I would hold on to some of the money, and I would start supporting them a little less.
Okay.
You know, I maybe I would go and then to the mission or whatever. If it looks dangerous, I might help, but like if it's something that I think they can handle, I might like leave and like, you know, let them get some real experience.
So this is where for our purposes right now, this might get more sophisticated as we do more stronghold stuff. Is where their stats will come into play for some of these things. Where it will be the kind of thing where it's like, oh, I'm gonna have Rosario lead this contract, so I'm gonna use Rosario's acrobatics check for the check. To see what that way it's one, not I think it's you chaperoning their things have made it like they're definitely going to succeed the contract because you have really high athletics. You just roll the athletics. It's pretty hard for you not to pass the checks. But now once they go on their own is when there's a chance that they may not complete the contract or they may not get paid as much for the contract based on the work.
Yeah, so if it's like a low end contract where it has a low DC, I would like to at least send them out on one mission where they go out and do their own thing.
Okay. Okay. And then Bruce is finishing up his work. All right. So let me resolve our little reconnaissance missions. All right, so Jaquet, with your 17, you learn that the syndicate has a rotation of spies that they specifically send out to harass the construction of the Ezha rail project. Specifically, and they specifically utilized this to disparage the Commodore, saying that why should the governor trust her in charge when she can't even guarantee the safety of his projects? So they send these spies out to harass the construction and make it seem like it's unsafe outside of Hyvin. to further the accusations they have against the Commodore of neglecting Eja and Hyvin. And that Mr. Greaves will provide alternate, or realistically, Mr. Greaves will ensure you have the ability to protect yourself.
Okay.
For the Aradunai, with 22, you get actually quite a lot with this intel. Reardon is able to work with his contacts to get quite a bit of information about the Aradunai. So the first thing that you learn is that the Aradunai have Fiora of Bendega in custody.
Oh.
That's your update for Fiora. They have her in custody, right? Actively right now. Or I guess a better way to put it, not that they just arrested her, they've had her in custody.
When we arrived, they said that she was wanted.
Correct. Yes. Since you arrived, they've accosted her. This was not before. They haven't had her since you got here. It's since you arrived. At some point between then and now, they found her.
Gotcha.
Contact-wise, you learn that within Hyvin at least, the voice of the ascendancy in Hyvin is an individual named Sinara Isilla.
One more time.
Sinara Isilla. SENARAISILA.
Oh, not double S double L?
Not double S double L.
That's too close to Alicia, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I don't want any more crossovers with pronunciations.
All right, that's fair.
And that the Chroma Fist is... You learn that there is a Aradunai placed in the Chroma Fist as a figurehead, but based on the intel you already have, and through this, they don't have a ton of control over the Chroma Fist. It's more so that the Chroma Fist will take the jobs and do them, and this person is kind of the scapegoat for the Aradunai if they need.
Gotcha.
Where it's like, this guy's not really a member of the Aradunai. We forsake him if shit gets too bad for the Chroma Fist. This one is a familiar name.
Oh, sorry.
It's John. That's
no,
his
it's
name.
Altair
You know a lot of
Merlin.
Johns.
Mm-hmm.
The radical leader of the once New Arden Project, which was the group that you infiltrated in Stony Heath.
Right.
But he has been... You can maybe sense that this is a punishment position for when he returned to the Aradunai after failing in his tasks in the north.
Whoops.
But also because the New Arden Project was kind of a splinter group a little bit. So he's folded himself back into the Aradunai proper. And has been placed in charge of the Chroma Fist.
Okay.
Altair Leowen.
Altair Auditore.
Altair. But Reardon is able to bring all of this information to you in the last, in like almost, I imagine, like over a drink at the completed establishment.
Mm-hmm.
Septimus, I am going to ask for a roll from you. I'm going to ask you to give me a religion check.
Ooh. I know religion. I stand corrected.
I lost my religion.
I don't know religion. 12.
12? Okay. You are, with your preaching, it's not that, this is not a check to see how good you preach. This is a check to see the effects of your preaching. Like you are giving these sermons there. And again, like the day-to-day of your temple is like the poor coming to be fed and healed. And now some lower class coming in and a few middle class people coming in to see what it's all about, listen to you speak, and if convinced enough to help, volunteer their time to help. You have, with your proselytizing, made enough donations to continue your operations, like purchasing food to feed the people, reagents for your clerics. Well, really, your only cleric is Hal right now, but your original 3 other followers are on their way to becoming clerics. But you basically you've made a modest lifestyle of income for the church in this first week, to feed and heal people. If you want to make another check for the second week with the religion, we'll see if you're able to make more to just feed back into the church.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay. You up your game and make a comfortable lifestyle amount of money to, this is the week where there's meat in the stew for the for the soup kitchen that you're kind of operating.
Microwave meat.
But in essence, you're keeping, what this is doing is keeping the people coming. Keeping people coming, keeping people interested, providing, showing that you are doing good works in the city, and not just demanding donations for nothing. The donations are satisfying these people. And you find like some of these like poor have come to like really depend upon your church, particularly because they don't like going to the Revelry of Roe. Because there's free food at the Revelry of Roe, but it's a different vibe. And there's like a different expectation of your presence that turns a lot of people off to a difficult time in their life. So the stoicism of your temple is preferable to a lot of these people. And you also provide free healings, which not every church, no other church does. So there's a you're not charging what other churches are charging for, and that is what is bringing a lot of people to your temple.
Okay. Perfect. I'm happy with that.
Okay. Now, this brings us to the end of the downtime we began.
So to clarify, we are on the 26th. Nope.
That's
we
where
are
we
on the
started
12th. We are at the 12th of Village Gloam.
Let me double check. So 26. Correct. We are on the 12th of Village Gloam.
Okay, cool.
So that does mean that the it's still cold, but the weather is starting to get significantly better, and not just better, but it's getting brighter out during the day, and you can actually start to see a little bit of the sun as the eclipse is starting to leave that portion, and at the end of this month, the planet will completely leave the occlusion of the sun, and we'll be back in the shining. Well, actually, I'm sorry. There's actually, I once again mistook my own calendar dates. The Iluvania Rising does not correlate with New Year's. It's a month before New Year's. I saw the word
Like a
shining
Thanksgiving.
and forgot my. It's yeah. Iluvania is Thanksgiving, and then there's the New Year celebration. So it's getting warmer, but it's not yet the point when it's really bright out. The next month is called the Shining Shadow because the eclipse does start to mostly leave the blocking of the sun. So it's mostly starting to return to normal light. But right now it's called the Wild Shadow. Animals are starting to show up again from any kind of hibernations or migrations. The snow is beginning to melt a little bit in some areas, but it is still, and if anything, it's actually, there's some squalls of snowstorms because it's no longer so cold that the snow is not evaporating and melting. So it's not as cold, but there's more snowstorms that happen in this month. But I'd say this is like a moment when maybe Iron and Mana comes back together for some updates between each other to talk about what you developed and what's next. So I imagine it's just like the 12th of the Wild Shadow was just a day where it's just like, kind of like you all end up in the same place where you haven't. I mean, I imagine obviously you guys have interacted over these 2 months, but this is like one. Septimus's temple is finished. The establishment is finished. There's a lot of projects completing now, so it may be good for you all to come back together. We can even say that it's like the dinner of the 12th, when you all either can be wherever you want. Maybe Jaquet, do you want to have kind of like a establishment
Jaquet
dinner?
is definitely welcoming everyone to the official full opening of his new tavern.
Mm-hmm.
And as you approach, you would see hanging outside the front door a sign. And it says, "The Gloveless Cat Tavern." Or just the Gloveless Cat. And it's a paw, much like Jaquet's own paw, dark fur with lots of rings and everything. And there's no glove on it. So it's just a fancy paw set with the words over it, and maybe like crawling on the wording is a little cat.
Ooh,
in the design.
I like that.
I'll sketch it sometime and then be like, it's really bad and never bring it up again.
What do you imagine I know you have a baseline description of what the ruins you found are, but do you have a description of the tavern?
So it's 2 stories. It's got that stone first level and then the wattle and daub on the second. It is painted in bright colors. I imagine the timbers are painted gold and the plaster is black, so it kind of stands out. And the trim is like another color. But inside, it's a nice homey space. There's a balcony that runs in the back to get to the doors for the folks that are staying. There's an office off to the right of the area, so it's like you walk in. Mm-hmm. There's the tavern and bar, or like the bar in the back, kitchen behind that, and then to the side of that is a little office that Jaquet keeps. There is a series of tunnels that Jaquet with Bruce probably connected to the underground thing for a quick escape, but there's also a cellar area where Oren keeps a number of his fresh casks. And as I recall, there was a stable in the back. Mm-hmm. They don't stable here. Instead, it's a space for Oren to mass batch his ales. And he's starting to get over into this new drink called gin. It doesn't seem to have been very prevalent in the menus that you've given us in the past, as I recall could be wrong, but maybe it's a new drink that Anders actually brought down from Stony Heath, and was like, "Yeah, can you get me some gin?" And Oren was like, "I got you. I'll figure out how to brew this."
Yeah.
And so he's got some home batch gin.
I love that. Yeah, I imagine gin is like a very like ritzy liquor in this world, where it's like it's mostly, if you're gonna be like, even you guys purchased a bottle of gin to send to the Dalian brothers.
Diamond Dust, that's right.
But like that was super expensive gin. So it's definitely something that's new for like the people to see something that's home distilled, so you can offer it at more affordable prices for people.
Right. And it's a raucous affair. There's fireplaces at both ends of the hall, and there's a special, when you walk in, there's a little area that you can walk over to, and there's a little stone set above like an alcove, and you can go up and you can use the cleaning stone that Bruce gave Jaquet. There is a very strict no smoking policy. You will get kicked out immediately.
I love that.
Jaquet even is annoyed by the smoke produced by the hearths, but he understands the need for warmth. And then in the office is a small like back room where there's a surprisingly modest bedroom for Jaquet. It's almost like he forgot about making his own bedroom as he described the entire inn, and was like, well, there's nowhere that really makes sense to put it now. So it's a small, modest one. And maybe when we level up to a level 3 establishment, he focuses more on his needs.
Yeah, the whole level 3 upgrade has nothing to do with improving the business. It's just Jaquet's bedroom.
Oh yeah.
How many rooms?
Yeah, and what was that?
How many rooms?
I believe it was 6 rooms was described, and Jaquet hasn't really expanded on that. The inn element of it isn't as important as the tavern element. He is still looking for a good chef. Currently, he has we'll say it's a goblin chef. Yeah, he's looking for Kirby. He's got a little goblin chef. He always really loved goblin cuisine from Farathris. But this goblin has not been back to Farathis anytime soon, does not know how to actually cook that well. And so Jaquet's next. He's like, once we find a chef, that's the next step. But there's also a rule. Jaquet does not perform at his own tavern. He invites new bards in. He'll give them like, notes or whatever. He's very happy to have new bards come through. But he never performs there. Occasionally, he might talk someone's ear off if it's late enough and he's drunk enough, and he'll kind of go into his eloquence. But he never performs there. And so, if it was a thing, if Mr. KR was ever upset, Jaquet would have told him like, "I get Oren, but you get my performances still." So that was trade-off. But yeah, I think that's the gist of it. Anders behind the bar, Oren managing. There's a few bartenders or waiter staff. There's the goblin chef. I'll flesh them all out eventually. It's the rub tub boys.
Oh God.
Bunch of halflings.
Yeah. You're serving
from the
poutine.
Fyrn's aisles. Yes, serving poutine.
It's from Argar, their campaign.
Yeah.
It's a very weird tavern that has a halfling family that runs it. They're very weird.
Yep. It was one of my worst instances of improv.
But yes, and I imagine Jaquet, would you imagine this is like a grand opening, or more of like a fancy shindig, soft invite only opening night?
Soft invite only.
Cool.
Because again, folks have been coming in already. But this is like a very small. He's keeping it to just like the party and maybe those follower NPCs that we've been hanging out with. Everyone's allowed to bring 4 guests. They sit at a different table.
Yeah, you guys have your table, and then there's the
Right.
follower table is off to the side, where you see like Hal is seated next to Rosario, and like there's just like this very awkward hodgepodge of the people you've cultivated around you. But Jaquet welcomes you into the Gloveless Cat. And you see Anders over there, who kind of gives you all a big smile as he's like doing his like showman bartending, where he's like throwing the cups around and stuff, and trying to impress and creating whatever the night's special is for the invites only, which I imagine is actually a very like deconstructed and very maybe posh gin cocktail using Oren's special brew. Or distillation with some of the zhuzh of Anders' fancy bartending. So it's actually like this little like lovely little glass that has the gin in it. It actually is a bright, vivacious gold color. In fact, there might even be like the fantasy equivalent of like those gold dyes that turn it all
Sparkles,
glittery, with a little garnish on it of a in somehow way he's cut up some fruit to kind of almost look like a little cat face that garnishes the side of it. And yeah, you all come together for a meal after being kind of preoccupied with your own things for a while.
My friends, so good to see you. Thank you. Come in, please, take your seats. There's a cleaning stone over there if you are a little dirty from your travels.
Oh yeah, the place looks great. I'll use that. I actually brought you a gift, Jaquet. A sort of a home, a christening of, it's just a little tradition that when, a friend or an ally, gets a new place, you're supposed to bring them some meal. So I got you this I understand you have a farm. Things are a little different down here, so I made a little bit of change. I was gonna bring you the entire elk, but they told me that this was a better idea, and I pull out like an elk's head that's like taxidermied onto like a mount. It's like, you can put it on your wall.
Oh, this is so funny.
Okay. That's different. You look around at the decor. It's very like kind of soft, bougie, but yet still like, welcoming to the lay person. It's a place where the layman goes to feel fancy. And Jaquet's like,
Yeah, remember when we went to that fancy smoke room in the academy, and they had one of these on the wall? It looked really cool.
Yeah. Okay. Oren, you think there's a place we could put this up?
And Oren comes over. These days, Oren frequents the cleaning stone because he just like reeks of the ingredients of a distillery. He just like reeks of yeast and just like the byproducts of distillation. So he doesn't even hesitate. He walks in, goes right to the cleaning stone every single time he walks inside. But Oren sees him and goes, oh, Fyrn, did you kill this thing yourself?
You know it.
Oh, it's a glorious gift. It's a glorious gift. Mr. Tushar, I think I know the exact place for this. And he gives you a little wink.
I knew you would, Oren, and that's why you're here. Thank you. Thank you, my friend.
And
I keep telling you, we can hire someone to do the stinky parts of the distilling. You don't have to do it yourself.
Oh, Mr. Tushar, I love it. And you already made me clean up my process. So it's the least you can let me do is get into it.
Okay. Okay.
It's flashback to 2 weeks prior where Orin is arguing with you about how, no, I only make this stuff in bathtubs, not casks. It has to be bathtubs. It just gives the zhuzh.
That tub magic.
And you see Orin immediately brings the taxidermied elk head into your office, Jaquet.
Amazing.
I was kind of hoping Orin would be on my side and he'd like put it on top of the bar or something.
Oh, if Orin is a seasoned bar manager. He knows what decor belongs in certain bars. If this was the Harley Quinn and Chalice, he would have put it right above the bar.
Although, yeah, I mean, I played that one mission in Oblivion. It's a little dangerous to have that shit like hanging above your head.
But yes, the rest of you come in, and you can see there's a nice table set up. Obviously, this is not an operating night, so it's like your guests are over at their table, and there's a nice table set up with goblets and glasses, and you can see Anders is putting down cocktails for you all. Ever the gracious host, Jaquet knows who is who, and Septimus, there's some milk ready there for you instead of a cocktail.
I drink tea.
I know. I'm just kidding. It's tea. There's nice hot tea
with a little milk in it.
A little bit of milk, yeah. And I imagine some accoutrement on the table, so a charcuterie board, some fresh
with
veggies.
Valerian jelly.
Yep, with
jam.
With Avenirian voidberry jam.
Yes, thank you. Sorry.
Some Avenirian voidberry jam with the charcuterie. It's really it's lovely. This is a lovely dinner. Some of you might have had very minor dinners over the last 2 months as you've been working hard. It's a nice almost celebration of your accomplishments over the last 2 months.
And this music is playing. Sorry.
Music? Which music? There it is, yeah. At the very end of the dinner, Bruce is going to look over at Jaquet and be like, so, been thinking about the worst case scenario and kind of like some weapons that might be good for us to have. You know, prep for doomsday situation. Not all of us can have an ancient artifact from the north. I was thinking about bunkos units and decided to take a crack at making a bunkos unit. And Jaquet, I got a present for you. I'm not done with it, but you can take a look at it if you.
Oh me, oh my! Let's crack her open and see. What have you brought me, brave Bruce?
Well, so you know how throughout the time we've been working to build this tavern, and every so often I'd ask you questions with that helmet on. Yeah. Anyway, here's Samari.
Samari.
And he reaches out to accept this gift. And what does it look like, Bruce?
All right, so
sorry, I stole that.
Oh no, you're good. So Bruce reaches into his bag of holding and pulls out this really immaculate, very glossy, metallic-looking crossbow. It is very lightweight. It is it's like a silver sheen to it with areas that are. It looks like wood, but it's not wood. It's another metal. It's another unique metal. But it's got a brown tint to it, and it's pretty flexible but sturdy. And that is what the limbs are made out of. Now, this is not just a normal light crossbow. It is a multi-limbed crossbow with tiered level. I don't know what to call it. The runway for a bolt. Almost as if to fire multiple bolts with a single trigger pull. So this particular one, currently, as its state right now, it only has 2 additional limbs. But there seems to be socket for a third one being built right now. And yeah, it's got a nice little grip to it. It fits the perfect hand of a tabaxi. It's lightweight, easy to move around, and it has like some sockets on the side of it which aren't familiar to you, but they look very similar to what was on Captain Hastings' gun. And so on the side of it says Bunkos, and then question mark at the end, and then off of that same B it says Bruce's. Vertically instead of horizontal.
I love that.
And then on the other side of the crossbow it says Samari.
Ah. It must hit like a bitch, right? That's why you named it after her? You do listen.
Well, actually, you actually didn't tell me that. I was wearing my helmet of detect thoughts to...
Oh,
that's the joke.
Grab that one from you.
So you pilfered my brain for my deepest secrets and then thought to name a crossbow after the woman that broke my heart.
Yeah. I thought that,
Checks out.
maybe, you'd appreciate it, even though, there's got to be some level of love in that deep hatred of yours. Maybe you name it whatever else you want. I can always etch it out if you don't like the name, but
No, I like it. It's personal.
I
good
feel like
weapon
I'm
needs to
missing a story. Maybe you should. What's going on here? Why is it named? What was it named?
We'll go over that some other time.
That's Jaquet's story to tell.
That's not really the point of this meeting right now. But thank you, Bruce. This is shaping up to be quite a weapon. So it can fire 3 bolts at once?
Well, 2 right now, but yeah, 3
Right.
eventually.
I can see the third, and it can be modulated.
That's right.
Interesting. Do you have any ideas for some modulars?
Yeah, just some basic ones as of right now. Contain a little bit of a fire elemental and a gem into that module, and some fire to some bolts. Make them magical.
I like that.
That's just one idea. What we could do too is have them be like, give them like a decaying status. So like you fire one off and it disintegrates into air, and you can make people blind, instead of a bolt.
The possibilities are endless, I see.
Yeah, we can. But
Possibilities are limited by imagination.
that's right.
Who said that?
Oh, sorry. One of the followers goes back to their table.
But anyway, so we can talk about those kinds of enchantments and what I'm capable of making at some other point. But
Of course.
Yeah, I figured, if we eventually do need to fight some outworldly beings, we might as well kit ourselves best way possible. And Mr. Greaves, of course. Sorry.
Well, that conflict hopefully will come down to words, and I'm pretty good at those. So I appreciate this, though. If you need anything, please do not hesitate to ask for it, Bruce. You've done so much already.
Oh, yeah. I'll probably need some more coin eventually just to finish up the...
Whatever you need, my friend, it's yours. Coin, personnel, extravagant goods. I know a guy.
All right.
And a gal.
I can make you...
And a non-binary
I can
individual.
make you some bolts that are named words, if you would like.
If you... Sure. We can put Mr. Grease's name on one of them,
Well, yeah, you said you wanted to exchange some words with him, and you're really good at using them.
Oh, I see. Oh, that went over my... That was good. Oh, Bruce. Have you been studying your eloquence? while away?
No, I've just been around it enough, so.
Fantastic. And Septimus, how are you? Did you bring me any gifts? No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to. Maybe a blessing from Machina? I've been hearing some great things about you around town.
Machina, well, blessings of Machina will come in due time. The goodness that we share upon this land is the blessing. But I must admit, this is quite the establishment you have here. It's nice to have something to make it your own.
Ruin Fyrn, I hear that everything is going swimmingly over at the Lighthouse Fortress.
Yes, things are progressing pretty well. I have a good group of recruits. Still green, but we're making some progress. You know, construction's going well as well. You know, I must thank you again, Bruce. Your Koboko compatriots have been doing an amazing job. I mean, they've already done a great job here, so I imagine my fort will be just as beautiful when it's finished.
Agreed. It's nice to see the fruits of your family's labor shown before us. You've talked so much about it all this time.
I'm just glad you guys are able to witness it.
Man, who'd have thought? All those months ago, back in the Harlequin and Chalice when we first met, do you remember?
Yeah, it's Fyrn, you and Saskia just strolled in, like, full of seawater or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, you
See,
clearly
we'll see.
don't remember. We were already there. You guys came in to post a job. You were talking to Aura and I overheard, and I said, hey, we're a scrappy bunch of fuckers. We can help you out. And you're like, I don't know you. And I was like, watch this. And then I shot the letter right out of Septimus's hand as he was going to pin it to the wall. It was really cool and is forever etched in my memory. I don't know why you can't remember that.
I remember that being actually quite rude.
Well, it got you to hire us, didn't it?
I think he only hired you because you were cheap.
Hey. That's fair. But now, we're here, on top of the world.
Speaking of
Or at least
good
the
old
city.
times, Jaquet, where's the fighting pit?
What fighting pit?
You didn't make a fighting pit for your tavern?
No, Fyrn, I didn't make a fighting pit for my tavern. That's not how this is run. Okay?
I made so much money at that fire pit. You made so much money at that fire pit. I thought that was our thing.
Look, there's space out back. It can easily be set up, but no fighting inside.
All right, I suppose.
And this way, you know, you got the mud. It can double as like a mud wrestling pit.
Is there
For
like
those
a
interested.
hole that we can do for the and like a cage that we could make drop?
Jaquet kind of looks over at Oren like, did you hear what he said? Can we do that?
and you see Oren, like, he gives you a face, Jaquet, that you start to familiarize yourself with in Oren, which is like him almost to himself sighing and being like, this is what you signed up for. This is what you signed up for. You're getting paid a lot of coin. You're getting paid a lot of coin. As he's like, I'll add it to the list, Mr. Touchard.
No, it's fine. Maybe
It's no problem.
put
really.
it on the side list, the
Oh,
potential list.
the
We've got
idea
other
list.
stuff going on.
The idea
Yeah,
list.
yeah.
Oh, you got it
Yeah.
right next to the bathhouse.
Of course.
And like Fyrn, you also
That's
notice like
actually,
you actually also notice like as you're talking about the fighting pit that you have to kind of like look over to where Hona is and just be like, no, there's no fighting pit. There's no fighting pit.
Well, I hope everyone enjoyed their meal, but we're not just here to catch up. I have had
Reardon, and Jaquet gestures for Reardon to join him,
Mhm.
and his new little counter syndicate, if you will, out gathering intelligence on both Mr. Greaves and the Aradunai.
Mhm.
Do you want to tell them what you've learned, my friend?
Yeah, totally. Hey again, everybody. Good to see you all. Getting
Cricket, cricket.
So yeah. So what we've learned about the syndicate is if we look, and he rolls out the map of Hyvin that you guys have, and he points towards the Widow's Ward. The syndicate has gone a bit underground, operating somewhere in the Widow's Ward that we are still working on rooting out, but they no longer operate out of the private room in the Otter Business. The Otter Business has kind of become a political office in a lot of ways. Like, people go there and there's speeches given. It's kind of honestly a lot like what I imagine this is going to turn into as he looks around. That Mr. Greaves supposedly operates out of in a clean way. But his old commander, lieutenant, whatever you want to call her, Orkwood, is operating somewhere else in the Widow's Ward. We haven't infiltrated that yet, but she is operating as the syndicate's lead, as Greaves distances himself from the organization for his political purposes. So there's movements going on there, particularly Orkwood under the, we assume, command of Mr. Greaves, is harassing the Ezja rail construction, which has made its way closer to Hyvin. And all of this is an attempt to disparage the name of Commodore Umadori, to enact change. And through that, they're also pressuring the Commodore's office to have elections. They're trying to push it off to the new year. So there's a lot of unrest with this and a lot of tension springing up between these two factions. So it's any day now, one or the other could burst and something could happen. But also, if there's ways to connect Mr. Greaves to the harassment of the Ezja rail, that could be interesting. But the Ardunai, we learned a lot. One Fiora Bendega is in their custody and has been at some point in the last 2 months. They have found her and are holding her, or at least the last we heard, we're holding her prisoner.
Piece of them.
The Aradunai are an irrational actor. They are much more susceptible to the whims of their vengeance, desire for righteousness, and purity and the balance of the spirits. So they have an active bounty on all of your heads. But you are obviously displaying yourselves as strong enough to really not have to worry about that at this time, unless something happens or someone big shows up and sees that contract. Fiora has been on the outs of the Ascendancy for months now, since your rendezvous in Stony Heath. So she's been in hiding for a while, and they finally found her, and are likely planning to punish her for her crimes against Aradun, betrayal of the Ascendancy by working with you all, and the Altair, the leader of the Aradunai anarchists that you dealt with, seems to be in charge of the Chroma Fist, was the Aradunai representative within that organization, and someone named Sonara Isilla is in charge of the Aradunai within Piscator's Row. Now, we don't know exactly where they are spread out, but we do know that they've reactivated their once meeting space there in the Red Dandelion Tavern. interestingly, there's these taverns all over town that are just like these hubs of factional ordinance.
Almost
I've
like
been-
they're the centers of social life.
There's also
I've been to
temples.
that tavern. It was a shithouse when I was there.
Well, when I had my operatives go there, it's reborn, so to speak.
Just so we're clear, did the Arunduni find Fiora Bendega, and they have her in custody, or was it the Chroma Fists that have her in custody?
She was found by agents of the Arunduni, not the Chroma Fist gang.
Okay.
From what I understand, given that 22, she was captured in Fairholt, likely trying to return to the city. We're not sure how long they've had her, but we know that they do.
That's concerning. We may have had our differences with Fiora, but at least she was willing to work with us in the past. What do you think we should do?
My thinking was that if we could somehow free Fiora, we might be able to help her regain some level of leadership within the Aradunai. Not with the ascendancy. They seem to be a little far gone. But if she could somehow be a voice of reason, show the common person that sympathizes with the Aradunai that maybe the ascendancy aren't the one to lead them, especially given the mayhem and chaos the Chroma Fist create throughout the city. We can use her in that way, but she gets what she wants as well, and potentially eliminate a hostile faction, or at least supplant the hostile leadership with one that's more favorable to us. Do I sound like the US government? You tell me.
Well, how do you plan on doing such a feat? Do you want to go speak with this Sonara fellow? Or perhaps you want to try and break her out?
My thinking was two paths, and you're right on the money. I think that we should speak with the leader of the Ascendancy if they will even give us an audience. The items that we did not sell to Litholdus, those elemental infused items, maybe we can offer them as a peace offering, to at least get audience and discussion with the Ascendancy and Asilla. Depending on how that goes, our next option might be to break out Fiora. But getting in there and getting eyes on the place and understanding it a little better can only help for getting her out of that area.
Are we so sure that she'd be willing to work with us, given our betrayal of her last time?
I don't think she would be unwilling. It might be a hard relationship to salvage, you're not wrong.
I'm thinking it might itself just be a lost cause. Let the Unai and their factions squabble amongst themselves.
I don't know if that's an option. If we let the factions squabble amongst themselves, they'll tear Hyvin apart and allow Mr. Greaves the clear route he needs to become Commodore.
Fiora, even though we didn't give her what she wanted in the end, she did help us in Stony Heath. And without her, you would have never found that machina that you're so that you were so focused on. Don't you think you owe her something?
We did betray her. So if anything, this kind of makes up for that.
Suppose you're right. Perhaps with all my knowledge, I might be able to sway her to see the truth.
Well, maybe you leave the proselytizing alone with Fiora and just accept that you both believe in different things.
It's at that like comment I would say that like Jaquet, you would just like maybe like everyone might just like take in Septimus for a second, and like mostly I mean this, that if you haven't seen him in a month a lot, like you've obviously exchanged, but like he's been not top of mind, not always in your life. Septimus, I imagine, especially with all the good works you've been doing, there's been some progression in your machination, and you would all like notice that like Septimus can no longer completely hide his body's changes. He can like 99% hide it, but the second he reveals any aspect of himself, it's pretty much there. In that you would see on his neck, there is this sort of like slow progression of the ferrofluid metal. Honestly, exactly like that of like hexes like that are growing up his neck, in like the veins of human flesh close to that are all like clearly really irritated and like swollen, and almost have this unnatural blue hue to them. You know, he's not like his face looks crazy or anything, and he's still Septimus, but like there's clearly been progression in his faith. Not necessarily maybe something to bring up, but just something you notice, especially as he says, "See the truth."
Well, we don't have to deal with the Ardunai. I simply thought that it might be a road worth investigating in trying to unify Hyvin around our cause, which is stopping this potential end of the realms or whatever it is Bruce seems to think is happening.
You're right.
Doing great, buddy.
You're right, though. Forgive my my wariness. The feelings I have towards the elements obviously have been well known for a long time now, and it comes from a place where I'm still unsure in my beliefs and feeling ostracized and trying to vocalize them. But things have changed now. The word of Machina grows, and I no longer need to be scared. I don't need to fear other people speaking their words when I can show the greatness of myself. And what better way for someone of Machina to save someone from the Ardunai?
Maybe we don't do this. Maybe we forget about it. Maybe Jaquet looks between Bruce and Fyrn like, what the fuck?
And you see like Jaquet, like Reardon is just there, and he's just like mouth agape, like, what the fuck has happened?
Leaning back, Jaquet like whispers to Reardon, maybe we start gathering intel on Septimus and what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah, I started gathering intel on the lighthouse or the temple district. I thought my magic was crazy. Anyway, I'm gonna get back over to the other table and start talking a little bit about next operations. But if you have any questions about what we gathered, come ask. And he walks away, gives you all a nod.
Hey, Septimus, how you Hey, hold it up there. How's that, I didn't get to ask you before, but how's this, you're mostly metal. What's going on?
Oh, it's feeling fantastic. Why do I not look okay?
No, you look great. You're just different. That's all I'm saying. And I just want to make sure that, you know, you're doing all right. Like, picked up some voidberry jam the other day. Like, do you still like it? Could you
Oh,
still
I love
taste
it. Oh, of course.
Okay, all right. Yeah, just
But this is just part of my ascension.
What happens when
What-
that
what is-
stuff gets into your head?
well, what? Yeah, to
You
Fyrn's
mean it
point,
hasn't already?
Fyrn's point, like, what happened? What's full ascension? Just out of curiosity. Is it becoming like Sal?
At first,
you
I
doing,
thought
Sal?
this. You know, at first I wasn't sure the finality of this, but ultimately, yes, I believe so. See, the mortal flesh is weak. The machine that is strong.
All right. I mean, yeah, it's harder material, that's for sure.
You see, as you're saying that, like, Hal kind of like bumps into the table. He on his way up to grab another drink. As much as he's purified himself, Hal's still a heavy drinker, like he was before the ether abuse. And he hears this conversation, and he just sort of like he doesn't grab, like, Bruce, he doesn't grab you or put his arm around you, but he just like puts his arm on your chair, the head of your chair behind you. As he like takes the last dregs of the Gloveless cat special.
Oh, we gotta make you a cocktail list of just fun names. To name.
Yeah, right. And he just
The
goes,
golden rings.
ooh, as he's like, there's always been rumors of the Ironborn, those pure of machine, of machina. I always thought it was a myth until I saw this man here.
Yeah, I did too.
But also, and he kind of is almost like getting into like the theatrics of when he originally was the only Machina's Whisper adherent in the city, and he tried to like do everything Septimus was doing except through like the like showmanship of it. He says, and then of course, and he gestures his arms over to Sal. He's like, the consecrated devices, the constructs born purely, who took their freedom from their creators to become enlightened machina. And he points at Sal. He goes, that is the goal. That is ascension. To hear the bliss, purity of the whisper.
All right. Well, can you just elaborate for me what your churches or temples' values are? Like, so you're trying to recruit followers. What is recruiting process look like?
Well, if you've come to any of my sermons that I've had over the past couple of weeks,
The start of the
talking
feud between
extensively.
Septimus and Bruce. Septimus invited him several times to his sermons.
I'm sorry, Septimus.
No.
I should have come to taken you up on your invitation, but I've been very busy.
The core tenets of what I try to espouse is helping those in need. It is helping people live good lives, because in the grand scheme, when I say machina is not another entity. We are all machina. Machina was the beginning. Then chaos erupted and broke apart, shattered everything. Power shifting through the universe. All the major beings that we know, the deities, Iluvania, the Crescent Heart, they're all beings from this one magical, or not, but sincere point. And we're all fragments, distant fragments. We all have power, we all have emotions. And just as it's shattered apart eons ago, we will be returning back to each other. It's just a question of when. We die, our soul leaves. It's a balance between machina, us, our spirits, as you would say, trying to find their way back. And it goes through cycles and phases. The life that we live.
And Hal kind of like holds a hand to his chest and says, and just as Machina ascends our flesh, that flesh itself, an ordered form, it is a union of anima and alma.
The machine is the perfect balance between that of which he says, the spirit and the material, working together in harmony.
Okay.
That sounds very nice, Septimus.
And as you're all like saying this, like in this way, like you hear Hal goes, "Of the willing, steel will be born of flesh. But the taste tenets are important for those who don't wish for such ascendancy. These tenets saved me from my own destruction. And yes, Machina gave me vision," as he blinks his unnatural mechanical eyes at you all. But I asked for it.
Okay. So consent. You asked for it.
Oh, of course. We're not some kind of, prophesizing faith that thrusts upon a young man some chosen one journey to fulfill some prophecy against his natural will to live peacefully in the field somewhere, or, force upon some princeling some great scheme of the Everflame. No. If I've learned anything from Septimus, it's that Machina is different from these gods.
What?
Real quick, want to bring this up that the last person that said that they were different than the gods brought about a almost plain ending conflict we call the Martyr conflict. So maybe choose those words carefully, or else you'll be labeled another wayward one. Just saying.
And like the humor in Jaquet's voice does not undercut the seriousness of what he just said. Of like, you are not the first to start a new wayward religion and a first to reignite some dangerous talk of the gods and whatnot. If there's anything Aradun is familiar with, it's the talk of the gods resulting in pain and suffering for the entirety of the planet. Even the Pallid conflict of 30 years ago was another one of these wayward ambitions. A much more clearly delineated evil one, but still the goals was ultimately fulfilling of the end of the reign of the gods and a new golden era. Granted, that golden era was an era of rot planned by the Pallid King. It had the same motivations of the Wayward One, which is why it's dangerous to be a proselytizer of new faiths.
I respect your want for power, and I respect your morals and the way you go throughout the world helping people. But this transformation, this ascension as you call it, when it is complete, what will happen to your soul? Do you plan on merging with this machina then? And will you still be you?
Of course I should still be me. The metal is the material, but my soul will remain within me. When I have my new form, it should still be me.
And what will you do then? Live forever?
Until the world collapses and I return back to the
And what will you do
collection
then
of everyone.
when you finally are destroyed or decide to end your life and your return to the afterlife? Will your family recognize you?
Well, I haven't. Whatever's left of my family. Maybe not.
Their spirits live on with their god, as my spirit lives on in mine after my death.
Sure, for a time. But like I said, eventually, and it will take a long time, everything will come back together, and I will behold them once more.
If that is what you wish to believe, I have no right to say otherwise.
Well, that got awkward.
That's not that awkward. Just needed to.
I think that might have been the most productive conversation I've had with Septimus in a while.
Doesn't. Okay.
You see, as
I
you're
think-
as you're
Yes,
breaking this
yes,
ice.
Jaquet, I know. My faith makes you uncomfortable. You can go
It's-
on
it's- it's-
continuing, enjoying
not
your
that it
drink
makes it
and your merriment.
Anders
Fair.
here. What I've got for you is a lovely dessert cocktail for you to finish out your night. And to go and be merry into the evening. This is a liqueur with some so-and-so and so-and-so. It's very delicious. And
Yay!
a little
got
shaved
any of
dark
that,
chocolate on top, and you take it all in one go, and it will warm you for the evening walk home in the cold. There's a virgin one there for you, Septimus.
You got any of that wormling Riesling in the back?
No. I'm gonna go clean up and close up the tavern.
Of course, my friends, you are welcome to spend the night here if you wish. Accommodations, of course, free of charge for you, as always, if you don't wish to make the long treks back to your respective bunks. But, yes, a little cheers before we go. To our success, to our adventures, and everything that lays before us. May we do it together, because we only got this far together. And to the safe return of our friend Saskia.
To Clan Iron and Mana.
Cling.
We all...
It's a very delicious raspberry chocolate shot of liqueur with some chocolate shavings on top.
That is good.
That's why I hired him. He's the fucking best.
As you can all retire to your respective domiciles or to the rooms upstairs.
I think Fyrn would stay there out of respect. You know, just to check the place out.
Oh yeah, the followers are having a party. Like, you guys can go to bed, but the followers are having a raucous evening with this. You know, they're having a good time.
Yeah, Fyrn would also have a good time, but eventually
and
he'd go up there.
yeah, and Jaquet.
Yeah.
I think Jaquet and Fyrn are like, hey, let us tell you guys how it actually is.
Yeah, definitely having that like senior hanging out with a freshman vibe going
Yeah.
on.
We used to play this game in the Otter business where you chase a greased up pig around or something. How did it go, Jaquet?
No, not here. The Gloveless cat is everything that the Otter business is not. Refined, classy, and mine. All mine.
And as the
Excuse me.
megalomania takes root in Jaquet, you all eventually find your beds to rest in.
Sounds good.
Septimus,
Oh, there he is.
you dream this evening. You find yourself waking in media res in the middle of this dream. Like most dreams, you don't remember how it started. You are just you in this dream in the context of it. And you are breaking your back, digging out parts of your field. You are young. It seems like it's maybe a year and a half ago. You are rushing through your chores because that afternoon you want to sneak away into the woods to visit Sal against your family's wishes. Sun is harsh. You're sweating. You can see some of your siblings running about the property. As your father walks up to you. Septimus. These plowing is inadequate.
Sorry, Father.
You're distracted.
No, I promise. Just the heat just got to me a bit.
And as you kind of grab your head and rub the sweat and say this, he got to me. He grabs the side of your head in a he's not like pulling you, but it is aggressive and pulls you in. You know there's no room for distractions. To feed our family.
Yes, I know. Must keep the spirits happy. Must keep them happy. Protect us.
He kind of pulls your head back a little bit. It kind of like separates you two. Are you not trusting? Are you not trusting?
Well, I mean, after Mom died and Unova, a couple of the rest, why didn't they save him?
And he kind of pulls you awkwardly into a hug. Their faith was insufficient. They did not believe in the spirits. You always believed fiercely. What happened? And he kind of pulls you out of the hug as you're staring at him. What happened? And you feel tightness in your chest. You can't get words out. What happened, son? And behind him in the horizon is just this wall of water. Have you forsaken us? And this is where it shifts. Like, he's not saying anything he would have actually said to you.
Yeah.
And this huge wall of water in the horizon. And you see kind of like behind the wall of water is just this huge meteorite crashing down. Just this ball of fire. And there's this huge blast, and then the wall just starts ushering towards you. You just keep saying, what happened, son? As you start to see, like, his flesh completely slews off of his body and is replaced with just a metal veneer underneath of a human skeleton made of machina plates. And the voice being changed into that lacuna, distorted voice. What happened, son? As then just sort of, you can't move, and there's just this massive wall of water ushering towards you. And he's not moving, and he's gripping your neck and keeping you with him.
Let me go. We need to run.
He lets go of you, and you turn to run, and you trip completely because your legs are gone. They atomize, almost disintegrate entirely into just metal in the dirt. You go to turn and grab to pull yourself up, and you look at your arm as it disintegrates into metal as well.
What's happening to me?
You turn as best you can over with your other arm as you just look down and see you are disintegrating entirely up to your neck, and everything's turning into just sort of this like almost like quicksilver metal glooping together into this amorphous blob that is like the shape of a person on the ground as your metallic father stands over and just in this horrid mechanical voice just saying, what have you done to yourself? As just the whole farm shaking, birds fleeing in terror, this wave just crashes over you and you feel your whole form gone.
If I can, crying out, Septimus is just constantly like, forgive me. I just forgive me, please.
And Septimus, you wake up in the middle of the night, choking as if you felt yourself like you were drowning. A cold sweat and just a fever over your whole body and pain in every place where your mechanical parts are attached to your flesh. You're alone on the second floor of the temple.
These lingering feelings of doubt and pain, weakness. Why can't I get over it? As he grabs his head and feels his hair and his actual skin. He's like... And then looking at his hand, which is all metal. It's like, but I'll be rid of it soon enough. He kind of grips and tightens his fist. That weakness will be gone soon.
And you try to get back to sleep. Some fresh feelings of your family may be risen by Fyrn's questions, burrowing into your mind. And I think that's where we're going to end tonight. And pick up next week as Iron Man takes some of its next steps.
God.
All right, folks, thanks for hanging out with us as we conclude some downtime and get back into the flow of the real-time stuff. We'll see you all next week. Keep an eye out for updates. All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.